During the installation process for SQL Server, we chose an option to enable something called mixed mode authentication, which simply means that the server will accept both Windows and SQL Server login accounts. We can see this setting by right-clicking on the server name here in the Object Explorer window and coming down to the very bottom and clicking on Properties. There are lots of different server properties that we can configure here, and they're split into different pages that you can see listed down the left-hand side of the window. The one that we're interested in here can be found underneath the Security page, and it's right here at the very top, SQL Server Authentication. Here we can see that my server instance is currently set to the mixed mode authentication. It will accept both SQL Server and Windows authentication modes. The other option is to switch it into only allow Windows authentication. This setting is great for testing and development of your database projects, but Microsoft discourages the use of mixed mode authentication for production databases, which means when you have moved on to working and storing real-world data. So why does this matter? Anytime that you're working with data, there's a high probability that you will need to control access to that information. Whether the data represents trade secrets for your business or confidential financial or health records of your clients, there's any number of reasons why you want to create a security wrapper around the data that you store. The main way that we do that is by limiting the access that individual users have to that information to only the level that they need to do their jobs and no more. So if someone's responsibility is to adjust inventory levels in the warehouse, they probably shouldn't also be able to access customer credit card details. By verifying the identity of the people that seek to access your database, you can create controls on exactly where they can go, what they can see, and what they can do in the database. Microsoft discourages the SQL Server authentication mode in production databases because Windows authentication creates a much more rigorous way to verify the identity of the people accessing your data, and Windows accounts are typically managed to follow the security best practices of your organization through Active Directory. These can even integrate with fingerprint scanners or RFID badges in some cases, in addition to enforcing strong password protocols. With SQL Server accounts, anyone that knows the username and password can gain access. It's not uncommon for several people to use the same SQL Server authentication account during the development of an application. But when you're working with real data, you want to be able to review audit logs to see exactly who is accessing what data and when. You need to know that the warehouse manager can only review the data in the inventory table, but not the credit card data. That level of control and security of your information really only comes from Windows authentication. Now, with all of that said, I'm going to leave my server in mixed mode for the time being, and that's because, well, frankly, it's just easier. The two main accounts that we're going to be using are Windows account and the SA account through the SQL Server authentication mode are both administrator level accounts, which means that they have full and open access to everything on the server already. At this point, we're just kicking the tires on SQL Server, learning how the system works, and we're not storing real-world mission-critical data. But if and when the time comes, consider coming back here and implementing a more secure login protocol by enforcing Windows authentication mode only.